Okay, answer the question below. If you wanted to output the text Tryhackme, what would our command be? Echo Tryhackme. What the hell? What is the user? Okay, let's get started to the episode. Okay, let's go. Tryhackme room overpass 1344 bytes. Okay, beside this overpass, what happens when some group comes like students make a password enter? There is hard. Okay, that's one overpass. What happens when a group of broke computer science students try to make password manager? Obviously, perfect commercial success. There is a Tryhackme subscription code hidden on this box. The first person to find an active it will get a one-month subscription for free. If you are already a subscriber, why not hit the code to a friend? The code is now playing. The machine was slightly modified on 2029-25. This was only to improve the performance of the machine. It does not affect the process. Okay, start the machine. Starting your machine. Connect using VPN to access this machine. You need to either web-based direct machine, connect to our network. Okay, start at Xbox. Okay, this is your attack box used to attack the machine you just started. Okay, this is the machine you just started. Then you can practice technically using the attack box. Your machine is initialized. Use the attack box to attack machines you to start on tasks. Okay, we're ready. Exit desktop in 9 seconds. There is a Tryhackme subscription code hidden on this box. What is the question? Hack the machine and get the flag in user text. Escalate your privileges and get the flag in root.txt. I don't know what it will get.
I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Don't pour right down the side. PCH country limit. I don't need a guide.
65%.
Where I wanna visit. Are you alive? I'll just breathe. 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Don't pour right down the side. PCH country limit. I don't need a guide. Follow lights. Take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? I'll just breathe in.
Connecting. Okay, this machine can access other machines you to deploy on Tryhackme. Please keep in mind the following. Pen testing any target that is not deployed by you on Tryhackme is prohibited. You are solely responsible for your action. This machine expires. Check Tryhackme to ensure you still have time left. Once this machine is terminated, all data will be lost. View the changes made to the attack box. Use instruction. Tools are located in root desktop tools are located. Web shells to use Empire and start blur. Do you think something missing? Let us know. Okay. আচ্ছা আমি করবো কি আমি বরাবর কি আমি desktop sorry let's additional tools Motomac I don't know I don't want to use this. I want to terminate. I want to learn introduction. That will be complete. Pre-security. Pre-security. Computer beginner. Complete beginner. Okay. Complete beginner introduction. This section focuses on introducing you to the Tryhackme platform and to the cybersecurity industry. Once you understand the virtual room concept on Tryhackme, you will start exploring the different careers in cybersecurity to get a better feel of what you may like to do. After which, you will learn how to effectively research for a complex answer. Cybersecurity is a very broad field and understand how to find relevant information will be extremely useful to you. Okay, here is many other modules. Okay, let's start by complete beginner introduction tutorial. Okay, let's go. Use the learn page to find cybersecurity labs. Challenges learning paths. Some text content machines you can start which are used to put your knowledge into practice. Okay. On Tryhackme, you will learn by starting in a hacking machine. So start your attack box, a web base, your machine. A freezer you can only deploy 2 machines at a time. আচ্ছা আমি এটা টার্মিনেট দিয়ে দেবো ওকে অন Tryhackme ওকে আচ্ছা এটাকে first complete the reading. Start machines and learn what makes them vulnerable. Connect access deployed machines by the attack box or via OpenVPN. Put your knowledge into use by hacking real world machine access machine via attack box or OpenVPN. Click the blue start attack box. Okay. Button at the top of this room. The attack box is what you will use to access target machines. You start on tasks such as this one. Start the target machine shown on this task and wait 1 minute for it to configure. Okay, to start first. Starting your machine. Okay, let him start. Copy the IP address of the machine that you started on this task. Then on the attack box right hand side, Open up Firefox on the attack box and paste the IP address into the URL bar. The machine you start on task are the target machines and are accessed by the attack box right hand side. Alternatively, you can access machines via OpenVPN. When you have finished with a machine in any room, make sure to stop it by clicking the red terminate button. Okay. Answer the following questions below. Follow the steps in this task. What is the flag text shown on the website of the machine you started on this task? A flag is just a piece of text that is used to verify you have performed a certain action. And security challenges, users are asked to find flags that prove that they have successfully hacked a machine. Follow the steps. Okay. Follow the steps in this task. What is the flag is shown on the website of the machine started on this task? Okay, no problem. Maybe I can. 85%. Okay. Okay, press enter to close. Okay. Here is the IP address. Here is the IP address. Okay. I know, bro. Okay, let's start Firefox. Let's see. Okay. Start 10.10.175.97. Message method not allow error response. Method not allowed. Okay, give me method not allowed. Is that the wrong answer? What the heck? A flag is just a piece of text. अच्छा भूल से यही से थी IP एड्रेस स्टेशन नहीं थे एड्रेस स्टेशन सर्च देता remember to paste the IP address of the machine you started on the task in the Firefox. Not a box. This is it. Code 405. What the heck? Error code X P L A N A T R N 405 SPACIFI spy method is invalid for this. What the heck? 10.10.175.97. Ten dot 10.175.97 ठीक है तो zero response for the head. The machine insert Okay, here we go, tutorial. What are the ball machine? Your machine is running. Thanks for confirming. Thanks for confirming. Thirty-one seconds. Access machines. So 1 seconds. Access machines. Tag box. Bukan ini. What the heck? Is there a box? Why can't I see? But I can't. Okay. But why can't I see? This machine. My machine. Star machine. What the heck? What the heck? Why I can't open?
I see her rolling
Start
up
the
with a
machine.
black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that? I think she's feeling me. Turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease. Big lips, bruised knees. I'm addicted to her, need her touching me. Cause she got a bad little waist. And we tearing down this place. Off the liquor that we chase. Got some egos to the face, baby, I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste. And I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine. That's so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on a tight frame. No game, no shame. Baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine.
Introducing Pro Security Complete Beginner. Complete Yapent. Okay, let's start the machine.
Got a fine little body and her mind's kinda
Why
naughty.
it's
They say
not
that once you
showing
taste
the
it, you
lighting?
cannot replace it. She could get you high, all the dopamine inside triggers fast once she's naked. Her body's a creation. They say the devil made her for his entertainment, but even he couldn't learn how to contain it. Her high heels make a damn good statement. There is no replacement, a body by Satan. She got a bad little waist, and we tearing down this place. Off the liquor that we chase, got some egos to the face. Baby, I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex,
Okay,
drugs,
let him start.
cocaine. So insane, jealous of the clothing that she wears up on a tight frame. All game, no shame. Baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine.
Okay, but where's the machine? Okay. Okay, welcome to Tryhackme. This room will give you a brief overview on the different career paths in cybersecurity. If you already have a basic idea on the different career tracks in this industry, search the activities page for different walkthrough and challenges. If you want some more structured learning, check out learning paths. Okay, let me complete it. Offensive security. The first large area within cybersecurity is the offensive side. This area involves attacking different applications and technologies to discover vulnerabilities. This career is for you if you enjoy understanding how things work, you are analytical, you like thinking out of the box. The most common offensive security job role is penetration tester. A penetration tester is an individual that is legally employed by an organization to find vulnerabilities in their products. A penetration tester usually requires a broad range of knowledge, including web application security, network security, use of programming language to write various scripts. More recently, cloud security has also been gained popularity as various organizations are now shifting their infrastructure to cloud providers such as AWS and Azure. It is also possible to have a specialty in one of these topics. However, a broad knowledge is the best way to start out. To help you build this broad knowledge set, we have a beginner pathway. that's cover the aforementioned areas. Alternatively, you can go to the activities page and search for various topics either by broad technologies such as web, network, or specific keywords. If you are familiar with certain attacks and technologies that you want to learn, answer the question: what is the name of the carrier rule that is legally employed to find vulnerabilities in applications, web application securities? Application security. Web application security. What the heck? Offensive security. OFFEN. What the heck? What is the name of the carrier rule that is legally employed to find vulnerabilities? Role. Penetration tester. Okay, now the defensive security. This is the second major area within security, while offensive security involves actively finding vulnerabilities and misconfigurations within technologies. Defensive security involves detecting and stopping these attacks. This career tracks is for you if you are analytical, you enjoy problem solving. One of the careers under this track is a security analyst. This is an individual in an organization whose job is to monitor various systems in the organization and detect whether any of these systems are being attacked. To do this, you need to understand how to underlying technologies work and then understand what attacks against these technologies look like. You can learn about this using this room. Detect attacks using Splunk. While a security analyst deals with detecting attacks, an incident responder is usually brought in once an attack has already occurred. These main responsibilities include understanding what action an attacker has taken in the organization and what is the impact of their action will be. Incident responders also need to know how underlying technologies work and what potential attacks could be carried out against a system. They then analyze trace evidence left by an attacker. You can learn about this on this room. Analyze memory to trace an attacker's actions using volatility. While this is a very specialist role, malware analysis is quite common when detecting and responding to attacks. Malicious actors would use malicious pieces of software in any stage of their attack cycle, from gaining access to a system to maintaining persistence. If you can understand what exactly this malware is doing, you can prevent further abuse and also identify the malicious action. You can learn about these on various rooms: Introduction to Malware Analysis, Researching and Identifying Malware, Identifying Strings in Malicious Application. We have also a Cyber Defense pathway that covers a broad set of skills, tools, methodologies that would allow to understand the fundamentals required for entry-level blue team roles. What is the name of the role whose job is to identify attacks against an organization? What is the name of the role? What is the name of the role whose job is to identify attack? Um, Security analyst. Security analyst. Congratulations. Okay, it's done. Offensive security. Okay, then into the introductory researching. Introductory research will through Dark Star 7 for Tryhackme introductory. Without a doubt, um, without a doubt, the ability to research effectively is the most important quality for a hacker to have. Research effectively is the most important quality for a hacker to have. By its very nature, hacking requires a vast knowledge base because how are you supposed to break into something if you don't know how it works? The thing is, no one knows everything. Everyone, professional or amateur, experienced or totally new to the subject, will encounter problems which they don't automatically know how to solve. This is where research come in, as in the real world you can't ever expect to simply be handed the answers to your questions. As your experience level increases, you will find that the things you are researching scale in their difficulty accordingly. However, in the field of information security, there will never come a point where you don't need to look things up. This room will serve as a brief overview of some of the most important resources available to you and will hopefully aid you in the process of building a research methodology that works for you. We will be looking at the following topics: an example of a research question, vulnerabilities, searching tools, Linux manual pages. Let's begin. Um, Example research question. We will begin by looking at a typical research question, the kind that you were likely to find when working through a CTF on Tryhackme. Let's say you have downloaded a JPG image from a remote server. You suspect that there's something hidden inside it, but but how can you get it out? How about we start by searching for hiding things inside images in Google. Is Stick and Freddy, how to hide secret data inside an image. Notice that the second link down gives us the little of a techniques steganography. You can then click that link and read the document, which will teach you how files are hidden inside images. Okay, so we know how it's done. Let's try searching for a way to extract files using stenography. Okay, files in image. Already, virtually every link is pointing to something useful. The first link contains a collection of useful tools. The second is more introductions on how to perform a steganography in the first place. Realistically, any of these links could prove useful, but let's take a look at the first one. Steganography, a list of useful tools and resources. Stick hide is an steganography program that hides data in various kinds of image and audio files. Only supports this file formats JPEG, BMP, WAV, useful commands. It can be installed with app. The very first tool there looks to be useful. It can be used to extract embedded data from JPEG files. Exactly what we need to do. This page also tells you that StegHide can be installed using something called apt. Let's search that up next. What is apt install? apt. The apt command is powerful command line tool which works with Ubuntu's advanced packaging tool. Advanced packaging tool apt, performing such functions as installation of a new software, upgrade of existing software packages, updating of the package list index, and even upgrading the entire Ubuntu system. Great, so apt is a package manager that lets us install tools on Linux distributions like Ubuntu, Kali. How can we install packages using apt? Let's search it. How to install things with apt? Ubuntu has by default something called apt. To install any package, just open a terminal, Ctrl-Alt-T and type sudo apt get install. For instances, to get Chrome type sudo apt get install Chromium browser. Synaptic is a graphical package management program for apt. Perfect, right at the top of the page we are given instructions. We know that our package is called StegHide, so we can go ahead and install that. Now let's switch back. To that collection of steganography tools we were looking at before. Did you notice that there were instructions on how to use StegHide right there? Useful commands: StegHide info file, display info about a file whether it's embedded data or not. StegHide extracts embedded data from a file. There we go. That's how we can extract an image from a file. Our research has paid off and we can now go and complete the task. Notice the methodology here. We started with nothing but gradually built up a picture of what we needed to do. We had a question: how can I extract data from this image? We searched for an answer for that question, then continued to query each of the answers we were given until we had a full understanding of the topic. This is a really good way to conduct research. Start with a question, get an initial understanding of the topic, then look into more advanced aspects as needed. Now it's your turn. See if you can answer the following questions using your research skill. The first three questions have appropriate search queries in the hints. In the Burp Suite program that ships with Kali Linux, what mode would you use to manually send a request? Often repeating a captcha request numerous times. Um, uh, 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 um, In the Barpsit program that ships with Kali Linux, what mode you use to manually send request? I see that. Repeater explanation. Repeater explanation. Shit. Wrong answer. In the burp suite program that ships with kindness, what mode would you use to manually send a request? Um, uh, uh, um, Anti hash. LMNT. What the heck? MU-4. What the heck? MD5. What the heck? Getting password. SAC -2. Wait a minute. What the heck? What has provided modern Windows login password stored in? I don't know what is happening. To separate one-way hashes, a LM hash required by legacy client and empty hash. Windows password is to separate one hash, a LM hash required into uppercase rainbow crack. How what hash format and modern is login passwords stored in what hash format? What are the Windows NTLM? NTLM. Oh, NTLM. Physically, they can be found at places like SAM and system. They are of course not stored in clear text but rather in hashed. firm and for all recent Windows version using anti-LM hashing algorithm using the anti-LM property. Okay, there's what are automated tasks called in Linux? Cron jobs. Right. Cron jobs. CRON. Cron jobs. What number base could you use as a shorthand for base to binary? Binary has two base. Use just 0 and 1. We also know hexadecimal. Which is base 16? What number base could you use as shorthand for base 2? Base 16. If a password hash start with
Swear I won't forget this. Why do I regret this? In my mind reckless, thoughts are feeling endless. Sitting up, I'm breathless, anxiety's infectious. I feel so defenseless, betrayed and embarrassed. I hate being open, I hate being broken. I feel like an ocean filled up with emotion. Anger in a potion, rub it on like lotion.
okay, here we're back.
Scars have awoken.
Then I need to search if a password hash starts with $6. What format is it? Unix variant. Best and go. SHA 512. Or interpret as hash with Linux. Unix variant. The password hash starts with what format is
I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath out. 'Cause I can't move on till I let go. I can't move on till I let go.
Remember, the password hash is used when changing a password is usually specified by so are Linux passwords sorted? How many rounds? Password That's a program that ships very nice. What module? Type repeater. Repeater, REPEA. REPEA. TER. No, what the heck? Use the request and verb set. Verb repeater itu. Reissuing requests with participation. Reissuing requests with barb repeater is scanner issue. Barb repeater itu intercepting. How do we do that? Using barb repeater tool for manually manipulating images HTTP. You can use repeater send to repeater, control request using barb repeater web socket message. Sending WEP socket. You can also edit mode name. What mode? What is the mode? What is the mode name? Let me what format? What type of format is used for password hash start with SSA 512. এটাই তো SSA 512. In Unix variant, oh my goodness, secret is 500 crypt plus 1. Much Cora material. That ships with Kali Linux. What mode will you use to manually send a request? Kali Linux. Right, that is good. Repeater. Oh, that is good. Okay, that is good. Okay, it's good. Now jump next section, vulnerability searching. Often in hacking you will come across software that might be open to exploitation. For example, content management systems such as WordPress, Full CMS, Ghost ADC are frequently used to make setting up a website easier, and many of these are vulnerable to various attacks. So, where would you look if you wanted to exploit a specific software? The answer to that question lies in websites such as Often in hacking, you will come across software that might be open in exploitation. For example, content management systems such as WordPress, Fuel, CMS, Ghost, etc. are frequently used to make setting up a website easier, and many of these are vulnerable to virus attacks. So, where would we look if we wanted to exploit a specific software? The answer to that question lies in websites such as ExploitDB, NDB, CVE Meteor. NDB keeps tracks of CVEs, common vulnerabilities and exposures. Whether or not there is an exploit publicly available, so it's a really good place to look if you are researching vulnerabilities in a specific piece of software. CVEs take the form CVE year ID number. ExploitDB tends to be very useful for hackers as it often actually contains exploits that can be downloaded and used straight out of the box. It tends to be one of the first stops when you encounter software in a CTF or pentest. If you are included towards the CLI on Linux, Kali comes pre-installed with a tool called Search Exploit, which allows you to search ExploitDB from your own machine. This is offline and works using a downloaded version of the database, meaning that you already have all of the exploits already on your Kali Linux. Let's take an example. Say we are playing a CTF and we come across a website. Fuel CMS homepage. Well, this is quite obviously Fuel CMS. Usually, it won't be this obvious, but hey, we will work with what we have got. We know the software, so let's search for it in ExploitDB. I'm going to use the CLI tool in Kali as it tends to be quicker from a workflow perspective. However, you are welcome to use the website. I'm using the command search exploit fuel CMS to search for exploit. Suspect result for fuel CMS. If you prefer doing things in this website, here are all the results from here. Exploit TP results for fuel CMS success. We have got an exploit that we can use against the website. Actually, using the exploit is out with the scope of this room, but you can see the process. If you click on the title, you will be given a bit more of an explanation about the exploit. Information about a remote code execution in Fuel CMS 1.4.1. Pay particular attention to the CVE numbers. You will need them for questions. The format will be like so. Note, CVE's numbers are assigned when the vulnerability are discovered, not when they are published. Bear in mind that if a vulnerability is discovered at the end of a year, or if the process is confirming and rectifying the vulnerability takes a long time, then the release date might be the year after the year in the CVE date. Bear this in mind when answering the following question. What is the CVE for the 2020 cross-site scripting vulnerability found in WP's form? 2020 কোনো ইয়া তো দেয়নি। Search for what is the CVE for a preferred institution has actually using this exploit is that you can see the process. If you click on the title, it will give you a bit more explanation. Question about remote code execution in Fuel CMS 141. What is this? I don't know. What is this? Oh, what the heck? There is a local privilege escalation vulnerability found in the Debian version of Apache Tomcat back in 2016. What's the CVE for this vulnerability? There was a local privilege escalation vulnerabilities found in the Debian version. Privilege মানে কি? সুবিধা নেই। বিশেষ অধিকার। Campaign. What's the CVE for this vulnerability? What is the very first CV found in VLC media player? What the heck? What is the very first CV found in VLC media player? Check header. No, I don't know. Ada. What the heck? A vulnerability thing allows to lip paste. What the heck? List of security. Pseudo program. Also, what is the very first CVE found in the VLC media player? First CVE VLC media. Very first of the date, update, publish 2014 কি আর আছে? সাত Oh my goodness. Very good. If you wanted to exploit a 2020 buffer overflow in the pseudo program with CVC URC, I want to know what is CVE? What is CVE? What is CVE? Red hair. CV means common vulnerabilities and exposure. CV, short for common vulnerabilities and exposure, is a list of publicly disclosed computer security flaws. When someone refers to a CVE, they mean a security flaw that happened inside a If you wanted to exploit a 2020 buffer overflow in the pseudo program, ঘুরায়ও করা যায়। CVE incorrect. Capo, শোনো, what is the CVE? Common vulnerability exposure. CVE. Voodoo. If you want to exploit, if I want to exploit a 2020 buffer overflow, 20 buffer overflow, in the pseudo program, with CVC. I will use with CVE. I need to use 3156 1 the max. What the heck? Cross side scripting. Ambas ichchidam. Um, which CV would you use? Physics signature was great. Stress heal was scored in the college of the flow. The world allows an privileged user to gain replacement of better host. Tryhackme and stop here. Walkthrough. One 8624. Okay, jump into next module, manual pages. If you haven't already worked in Linux, take a look at the Linux fundamental module. Linux, usually Kali Linux, is without a doubt the most ubiquitous, 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 ubi, ubiquitous operating system used in hacking. So it pays to be familiar with it. Once the many useful features of Kali Linux is the inbuilt man command, which gives you access to all the manual page for most tools directly inside a terminal. Occasionally, you will find a tool that does not have a manual entry. However, this is rare. Generally speaking, when you don't know how to use a tool, should be your first port to call. Let's give a shot. Say we want to connect to a remote computer using SSH, but we don't know the syntax. We can try man SSH to get the manual page of SSH. Also, we can see in the description that the syntax is using SSH user at the red host. Okay, we can also use the man pages to look for special switches in programs that make the program do other things. An example of this would be that from our very first example, stake height can be used to both extract and embed files inside an image based on the switches that you give it. we can also use we can also use the man pages for special wishes. We can use also man pages to look for some special switches in programs that make the program do other things than use. Another way to find that switch would have been to search the man pages for the correct switch using grep. Now your turn. Answer the following question using the man command. SCP is a tool used to copy file from one computer to another. What switch would you use to copy and enter? What switch would you use to copy an entire directory? Man SCP है ওটাই তো হবে বাট ম্যান SCP দিলে তো হবে না ওটা দিলে তো হবে না আমিও জানি SCP is a tool used to copy files from one computer to another. What switch would you use to copy an entire directory? Man. Achha, fdisk is a command used to view and alter the partitioning scheme used on your hard drive. What switch? কি আমি চালাইতে হবে তো আমার দেখাবে না এগুলো করে লিনাক্সগুলো দেখাইতে হবে মেশিন স্টার্ট না করলে আমি কীভাবে করবো আর Nano is an easy. ওটা ভালো লাগলো না Final thoughts. Linux fundamental দেখতে বলতে You may have been told in school that there are good sources
and bad sources of information. That may be true when it comes to essays and referencing information. However, it's my pleasure to state that it does not apply here and information can potentially be useful. So feel free to use blogs, Wikipedia, or anything else that contains what you are looking for. Blog especially can often be very vulnerable for learning when it comes to information security. As many security researchers keep a blog, having completed this room, uh, you hopefully now have established the basis of a methodology to tackle research questions that you come across by yourself. The vast majority of rooms on Tryhackme can be solved purely using knowledge found on Google. So please take the opportunity to improve your skills by googling any problems you come across. Okay. You may have been told in school that there are good sources and bad sources of information. That may be true when it comes to essays and referencing information. However, it's my pleasure to state that it does not apply here. Any information can potentially be useful, so feel free to use blogs, Wikipedia, or anything else that contains what you are looking for. Blogs especially can often be very valuable for learning when it comes to information security. As many security researchers keep a blog, having completed this room, you hopefully now have established the basis of a methodology to tackle research questions that you come across by yourself. The vast majority of rooms on Tryhackme can be solved purely using knowledge found on Google. So please take the opportunity to improve your skills by googling and okay, ठीक है, so thank you. Google dorking. Congratulations, you have completed the room. Thank you. The correct answer is complete dashboard. ইয়াটা করতে হবে আচ্ছা okay. আমি ইয়াটা শিখতে পারি লিনাক্স ফান্ডামেন্টাল লাগবে লিনাক্স ফান্ডামেন্টাল লিনাক্স ফান্ডামেন্টাল লিনাক্স ফান্ডামেন্টাল To access material, star machines and answers question, you need to join this room. Okay.
Introduction. Welcome to the first part of the Linux Fundamentals Room series. You are most likely using a Windows or Mac machine. Both are different in visual design and how they operate. Just like Windows, iOS, and macOS, Linux is just another operating system and one of the most popular in the world, powering smart cars, Android devices, supercomputers, home appliances, enterprise servers, and more. We will be covering some of the history behind Linux and then eventually starting your journey of being a Linux wizard. This room will have you running your very first command in an interactive Linux machine in your browser, teaching you some essential commands used to interact with the file system, introduce you to how user and groups work on Linux, and what this means for us penetration tester. Let's get started. Okay, let's go. A bit of background on Linux. It's fair to say that Linux is a lot more intimidating to approach the operating system. OSs such as Windows, both variants have their own advantages and disadvantages. For example, Linux is considerably much more lightweight, and you would be surprised to know that there's a good chance you have used Linux in some form of another every day. Linux powers things such as website that you visit, car entertainment, control panel, point of sale, point of sale systems such as checkout, tills, and registers in shops. Critical infrastructure such as traffic light controllers or industrial sensors. Flavors of Linux. The name Linux is actually an umbrella term of multiple OS that are based on Unix, another operating system. Thanks to Unix being open source, variants of Linux comes in all shapes and sizes, suited best for what the system is being used for. For example, Ubuntu and Debian are some of the more commonplace distributions of Linux because it is so extensible. You can learn Ubuntu as a server, such as websites and web applications, or as a fully fledged desktop. For this series, we are going to be using Ubuntu. Ubuntu server can run on a system with only 512 MB of RAM. Similar to how you have different versions Windows 7, 8, and 10, there are many different version distributions of Linux. Research: what year was the first release of a Linux operating system? It's 1991. What is the year of this Linux operating system? 1991. Okay. Interacting with first. Start the machine. Okay, let's go. This room has a Ubuntu Linux machine that you can interact with all within your browser. Whilst 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 video capture device is working. If okay, that's good. Okay. Okay, here we go. This room has a Ubuntu Linux machine that you can interact with all within your browser. List following along with this room 71%. Okay. However, to get started, simply press the green start machine button on the top right of the task indicated by the arrow on the right. Once deployed, a card will appear at the top of the room. This contains all of the information for the machine deployed in the room, including the IP address and expiry timer, along with buttons to manage the machine. Remember to terminate a machine once you are done with the room. More information on this can be found in this tutorial room. For now, start machine where you will. Okay. For now, press start machine where you will be able to interact with their own Linux machine within your browser, following along with this room. Okay, I have developed my first Linux machine. Yes, it's the IP address. Okay, then. Running your first few commands. As we previously discussed, a large selling point of using OSS such as Ubuntu is how lightweight they can be. This of course doesn't come without its disadvantages. Where for example often there is no GUI, graphical user interface, or what is also known as a desktop environment that we can use to interact with the machine. Unless it has been installed, a large part of interacting with the system is used in the terminal. The terminal is purely text based and it intimidating at first. However, if we break down some of the commands, after some time you quickly become familiar with using terminal. This is what a terminal looks like. We need to be able to do basic functions like navigate to files, output their contents, and make files. The commands to do so are self-explanatory. Explanatory. Once you know what they are, of course. Let's get started with two of the first command, which I have broken down in the table below. Command echo output any text that we provide. Who am I? Find out what user we currently logged in as. Who am I? Tryhackme and ECHO. Echo output any text that we provide. See the snippets below for an example for each command being used. Yes. That's right. Also being word name. The quotation is again. What is the username of who you are logged in as on your deployed Linux machine? What is the username of who you are logged in as on deployed Linux machine? Okay. Who am I? Tryhackme. Okay. Okay, complete. Interacting with the file system. Interacting with the file system. So far we have only covered the echo and who am I comments, not all that useful when you consider things that we need to do, including navigating the file system, read and write to it as well. In this task, we are going to be learning the commands so that we can do just that. Just like the previous task, I will display the commands in the table in the next heading and show examples of these commands being used. Interacting with the file system. Interacting with the file system. As I previously stated, being able to navigate the machine that you are logged into without relying on a desktop environment is pretty important. After all, what's the point of logging in if we can't go anywhere? Cat con concatenant concatenant PWD print working directory print working directory. Listing files in our currently directory. ls important files, my documents, notes, pictures. In this screenshot above we can see there are the following directory: important files, my documents, notes, picture. Great, you can probably take a guess as to what to expect a folder to contain given by its name. ls folder 1, ls cd folder 1, ls. Changing our current directory. Okay, let's see. Now that we know what folders exist, we need to use the cd command short for change directory to change to that directory. Say if I wanted to open the picture directory, I had to cd pictures, where again we want to find out the contents of this pictures directory, and to do so we had also ls again. Outputting the contents of a file cat. Well is to knowing about outputting the contents of a file cat. Contents of a file. Okay, well is to knowing about the existence of files is great. It's not all that useful unless we are able to view the contents of them. We will come on to discuss some of the tools available to us that allows us to transfer files from one machine to another in a later room. But for now, we are going to talk about simply seeing the contents of text files using command line called cat. Okay, cat is short for concatenating and is a fantastic way as to output the contents of files. In this screenshot below, you can see how I have combined the use of ls to list the files within a directory called documents. ls then Kebaran Anjil. You can use get output the contents of file within directories without having to navigate to it by using cat in a directory. Finding out the full path of a current working directory. এটা দরকার ছিল ls ed folder 1 ls pwd review counter folder 1. Nice. Let's break this down. On the Linux machine that you deployed, how many folders are there? How many folders? Which directory contains a file? Which directory contains a file? No? Which directory contains a file? What is the contents of this file? File. Use the cd command to navigate to this file and find out the new current working directory. What is the path? So which directory contains a file? Oh, pwd slash home slash tryhackme. Discuss about a certain command that can be used to list contents of directories. Which directory contains a file? cd. Which directory contains a file? Which directory contains a file? Which directory contains a file? There are 4 directories. As we saw in the last question, we could navigate into each directory. Oh, ফাইল আছে cd folder 4 txt
এই নিয়ে গেলাম এই ওয়াস্টার আছে না রে এখন এই খুলে ওই সোলারে লাগাবো যেহেতু সোলারে সার্ভিস দিচ্ছে ওই রং
there you go এবার হচ্ছে আচ্ছা এখানে বিলাক অ্যানালাইসিস pwd cat cat node.txt ওর ভিতরে কাজ যে লেখা আছে ওটা দেখাবো তাই pwd আচ্ছা বলছি কি city contains a file folder 4. What is the contents of this file? Contents হচ্ছে আমার node.txt. What the hell? What is the contents of this file? Use the cd command to navigate to this file and find out the new current working directory. What is the path? Use the cd command to navigate to this file. Okay. Cd ls cd folder 4 ls pwd. Okay. Use the cd command to navigate to this file and find out the new current working directory. New current working directory. New current directory. So first you say to navigate to file program, then review the 4 commands to identify them. This current working directory. This command is super important. It allows us to check where directory we want to be in. It is any given time. It is any given time. From inside the directory, we use this 3-letter command to print the working directory. Folder তখন বের করতে পারবো এই জায়গায় pwd হ্যাঁ সেল কিনা নিউ ডিরেক্টরি এটা তো বুঝিনি searching for files. Okay. Although it doesn't seem like it so far. One of the redeeming features of Linux is truly how efficient you can be with it. With that said, you can only be as efficient as you are familiar with it, of course, as you interact with OSs such as Ubuntu over time. Essential commands like those we have already covered will start to become muscle memory. One fantastic way to show just how efficient you can be with systems like this is using a set of commands to quickly search for files across the entire system like that our user has access to. No need to consistently use cd and ls to find out what is where. Instead we can use commands such as find to automate things like this for us. This is where linux starts to become a bit internet approach, but we'll break this down and ease you into it using find. To find command is fantastic in the sense that it can be used both very simple or rather complex depending upon what is you want to do exactly. In fact, so much so we have an entire room dedicated to using and practicing find command. However, let's stick to the fundamentals first. Take the snippet below. We can see a list of directory available to us. Okay. Now, of course, directories can contain even more directories within themselves. It becomes a headache when we are having to look through every single one just to try and look for specific files. We can use find to do just for us. Okay, like it's going expire machine shit. Okay, expire, no problem. I will it's searching for files task 6. Okay, dashboard 27 questions. Progress 3%, 27 level 10 frames. Heck with your friends. You path or Linux fundamental like complete Linux fundamental part 1 করতেছি fundamental click করে introduction এটা করতে হলে হয়ে যায় দেখি ওরা আসে কিনা start machine and its main screen access and VPN box open হচ্ছে না বুঝলাম না starting your first machine Tryhackme answer by Shadow Master. Flag connection verified. Copy then flag okay bacha gesi here we go for terminate the machine. Here we go for the dashboard Linux fundamental okay that's good. It's time to go to our